Since ancient times, the most refined art of enlightened scholars has been painting. That's from early Chinese texts on painting. The Chinese Eastern cultures have had a different approach to painting than they do in the Western cultures. We in the Western cultures have had money involved in our arts. As we talked about before, you remember this chart. We talked about how the art soul got corrupted and the art soul actually was diminished as it went along, and pretty soon there was no art soul left at all. Okay, we have a new chart today. This new chart, we have the creative force, which enters the brain, which runs the motor cortex, which runs the hand, and so that's how your creative force works. But when we add fine art painting and true art, remember last week we talked about the art soul and the holy art triangle which protected the art soul. In other words, as the soul got corrupted and diminished, it flooded with all kinds of other junk, money and all those other things, and diminished it with doubts and fears and all those things. And so when it goes into the holy art triangle, that's where you drain the swamp, so to speak, and you get back to your pure art soul. That's where you refine your art soul and try to get it back to its original state, because it's protected from all those outside influences that distract it and that diminish it. So, if we add to if we're talking about painting, we move from the cortex. This idea goes in here, and it comes down to the art soul, and then it is circulated through the whole body, out through the hand and out through the brush. You see the difference? Rather than going directly to the hand, it goes through the art soul, which circulates through the body. So that your spirit gets part of this creative force and becomes part of your spirit and your body, and the spirit continues through the brush onto your work. So you see, that's different than just going directly. The art soul is very, very important. And that's why it has to be protected, and it has to be resurrected and cleaned and purified, which we talked about last week. In the book of art it says, a pure spirit brings forth a pure line. So you see, it's a lot different than just grabbing a canvas or some handmade paper and throwing some paint on it. There's a lot more involved, and there's a lot more to work on so that this flows, circulates and flows. Now there's another, in this Chinese text, there's another passage I want to read to you. The spirit circulation means that the painter, as he sets out to work, lets the spirit of his soul circulate through his body. When his soul is small and his spirit insufficient, his brushwork will be stunted, feeble, and always unsatisfactory. He should let the spirit expand through his body, with his soul filling up heaven and earth. The ultimate aim of painting is to represent the spirit of the object. Do you see? So this is important. We don't just go directly from a creative idea down to the hand. We can do that too. And that's what usually happens with the commodity artists. It goes directly to the hand because they've lost their art soul, and nothing goes in their art soul. It all just goes out their hand. And so they're producing paintings, and all they're thinking about is producing more and more and more so they can make more money and all that other stuff. Try to get famous and be known, which is silliness. When you die, nobody cares how many people knew you. Nobody cares how much money you had in the bank, how big your bank account was. They just want to look to see what kind of art you produced. You see? You spend your time trying to get personal gratification and get people to cheer you and you know, bow to your every whim and all that stuff. You're not going to produce anything. You have to work on your art soul, and that has nothing to do with all that other stuff, fame and fortune and all that stuff that's attached itself to art. Art in its pure form is just art. It's the art soul. It's the expression of a human being made manifest through the brush. So it's important that this circulates. And it's important you resurrect your art soul, protect it. The Holy Art Trinity, protect it so that it doesn't get attacked by all these things that don't mean anything. And if it's protected, then you'll be able to use it and circulate your art spirit, and it'll come out your brush, and you'll start producing some real true art. Okay, that's all for today. Send me an email, go to my website, and I'll see you next week.